Hey everyone. All right, so welcome to our first video of chapter 2. Right, by this point, hopefully we have established a good foundational understanding of just what strategy is about from a very 1,000-foot level. Right, this idea that strategy is basically just plain and simply going to be it's our roadmap for how we get where we're trying to get to. Right, by this point, we've determined kind of what like what success means for us, how we want to try to get there. Our strategy is basically that road that aligns us with aligns where we are with where we're trying to get to, plain and simply. Right, so as we keep this in mind, we did talk quite a bit about this idea that we have to know where we want to go in order to make sure that we have a strategy that's going to get us there. Hopefully makes a lot of sense, right? So this is really what we're going to be focused on in this second chapter is how do we really, I guess, chart that long-term direction? How do we figure out our vision, mission, objectives, strategy, and how these fall into a framework that we like to call the strategy making, strategy executing process? Okay, so we want to start with this first task, right? We're not going to go through this entire model all in one video. We're going to break this down little by little, but there are 5 ongoing interrelated managerial tasks that accompany making a strategy and then executing it effectively. And our first step, interestingly, right, after we've stressed it quite a bit in our first couple of videos, is how do we develop a strategic vision, a mission, and core values, and what value are those to us when we are creating our strategy to move our company forward. So essentially, this first step of the process is really all about developing these specific strategic elements, right? Understanding what our vision is going to be, our mission, and our values. We're just going to break those down here real quick and easy, hopefully for you here. So this process actually entails, right, we have to get a clear idea about the future of our firm. Not just understanding our current situation like we talked about, but understanding clearly where we want to go to, right? Where are we going? We have to consider how our competitiveness and our overall business performance could be improved, right? This could mean we want to offer new things. This could mean we want to try to, grasp new types of markets, bring new people into our target market. We might say, we want to rearrange the types of things that we're offering, the strategies that we're taking, or the approaches that we take in order to try to engage with those people, all these kinds of things. But what's really important we want to keep in mind is keeping a very clear, forward-looking vision is going to be really important. So just like on that first slide said, if we don't know where we're going, it'll really seem like any path will take us there. So our best performing organizations usually have a very clear understanding about where they're going. So what does that entail, right? We have to figure out our future direction, like where we're heading. So how do we even do that? I mean, especially as young people, I think we can relate this a lot to, keeping in mind that, a lot of people are like, figure out what you want to do with your future. We all understand, right? It's not just it's not that quick and easy of a thing, right? So we take a lot of external and internal considerations into account while we're trying to determine those future directions. And this is super exhaustive. And I know that the point of you watching this video is not for me to sit here and read each one of these off, but the bigger picture and the thing that I want you to take away from this is understanding that there are both external elements and internal elements that we need to take into consideration if we are going to really determine what the future direction for our firm really is. And while I'll give you all these slides, obviously are all on Canvas and things. If you want to read through some of these more closely, please, I absolutely welcome you to do that. It'll give you a better understanding of what type of considerations there are. Just understand each step along the way, in order for us to determine these important elements of this first step, we have to understand the external and the internal realities that are going to impact what type of future direction we should really take, right? And there are they are abound, all right? But let's start by specifying what these different concepts are really all about, right? The important concepts we want to focus on is if it says we want to develop a strategic vision, what does that entail? Well, it usually entails a vision statement. So a vision statement is just going to be this statement that's going to clearly convey our long-term direction, plain and simply, right? Usually we talk about this in the span of like a 3 to 5 year period, and it's going to describe that route that we intend to take in order to develop and strengthen our business into the future. That vision statement should really clearly convey our long-term direction, say something definitive, and this is the key thing. It needs to say something definitive about what our top executives want or expect from the product, market, customer, business, makeup, all of these kinds of things in the next 3 to 5 years, like we say here. So it's just words. It's just meaningless jargon unless we make sure that it paints a really clear, distinct picture of what that future is going to look like, and it is really well communicated. Because once it's really well communicated, it's a great, valuable managerial tool for us to enlist the commitment of the people that work for us, the actions they should take to align with this vision, and keeping that in mind. This is why all large organizations do it. The university does it. We have all these, 2025 plans, all these strategic visions for what to focus on in the future, so that when we're all making, decisions as individual instructors, professors, staff members, students, we align our behaviors and our activity with these kinds of things. We want others to support our vision, meaning that it needs to be engaging. It's got to be inspirational. It's got to be a distinct representation of where we want to go. So when we're wording a really effective vision statement like that, there are some do's and don'ts that are put out here, pretty simply here. But winning support for the vision is really just going to involve clearly stating where are we going and why, making sure we state that, distributing, that statement across all people in our organization, having executives come out and usually explain that vision and give some more nuance about what the vision of the future really are, and really providing this engaging, inspirational vision. It's challenging because we want other people to share in our excitement for this thing, but it needs to also be something that challenges and motivates people. And sometimes when we're doing something that challenges people, it's not motivating, depending on who we're talking to, right? But we want to try to evoke some sort of positive support and excitement and enlist the commitment of the people of that company in this vision statement, because it's going to be everything. It's going to be what moves us forward, and like I've said, impacts the decision making that everybody engages in. So the difference between this vision and our mission statement is really this, right? Our mission statement is going to be focused on the present business and purpose, who we are now, what we do now, why we are here, right? A well-worded, informative mission statement is going to use really specific language that sets the firm apart from other rivals, right? Hiding behind really generic wording, or that disguises who we are and what we do and gives a really like superficial facade of those things, no useful purpose to that. Okay, to be well worded and informative, a company's mission statement really has to employ language that is specific enough to distinguish its business makeup and purpose from those of its competitors, right? It's got to give our company its own identity so that we know the company based off of that mission, right? So a firm's mission is not to make profit, also to be really clear here, because some people put that kind of stuff in the mission. It is not to make profit. Making a profit is the intent of every commercial enterprise. It does not make you special. It is not something that distinguishes you from others. So making a profit should have nothing to do with your mission statement at all. Profit is more correctly thought of as an objective and a result of what your firm does. But a mission statement needs to clearly identify your products and services, specify your buyer's needs and that we are seeking to satisfy, and really establish the identity of your firm. And I know that makes it sound simple. It's more difficult than that, but that's why usually these processes, when we get together and put these things together as, like, let's say, a board of directors or executive team, it usually takes quite some time. But it really, plain and simply, needs to answer these questions: who we are, what we do, and why we are here. So when we compare and contrast this idea of the vision versus the mission, right? We said mission is focused on the now and vision is focused on the future. Where are we headed? And mission is, where are we, right? What are we here for? What are we doing? So this gives you a really quick and easy, like, comparison and contrast of these two ideas. Aside from that, the other important step to this first task is defining the core values, right? Now, at enterprises where the values are genuine and really deeply entrenched, our senior managers, often craft vision, mission, strategies, and operating practices that really align with the values that we want to set for our company, right? So managers connect their strategic vision and mission to the professed core values, right? So at some firms, a strategic vision, a mission, or some values are combined into a single document that's circulated to all their personnel and posted on their websites, posted up in the workplace, all these kinds of places. These core values have to really express what are the core beliefs, traits, and the behavioral norms that are expected of the people who work there. All right. So to be really effective, as it says here, everybody in the entire organization has to be responsible for conducting themselves in alignment with those values when they represent the organization. And this is really the real value of why we established those things in the first place. All these things together, hopefully you've got a decent idea about what this idea of our core values, mission, and vision are, and their importance to this strategy making, strategy executing process. But this is just the first step. We've got a couple more to discuss.